Hello everybody, it's Juliet here, and today we're going to be making these earrings using supplies out of the Golden Hour Shadows November treasure box from Potomac Beads. And all of these beads except for this seed bead around the edge here, all the rest of those came in your box, not the findings. But I wanted to show you a couple other earrings that I made using some of the supplies from the box. So we got given this hollow bead, that, well, not a bead, a hollow, just a link thing, right? Okay. And these beads here, these three all came in the box. So I used some rose gold findings that I had, and I just made these earrings, which I think came out pretty nice. I like them. Sometimes simple is, you know, enough, right? So I made those, and then using these fun drops from the box, I just put the cube beads that came in the box with one of the round spacer beads, and, you know, just again on a head pin. And I used, oh, I have two different I just noticed I have two different earring tops. I'm gonna have to change one of them. Oopsies. Anyway, so good thing I noticed now before before I gave it to somebody. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, just really simple, quick earring, but you know, I think they're quite modern and funky looking, almost like an animal print, you know, using those cool striped drop beads. So just a couple ideas for you to use some of the beads that came in the box. Anyway, so today we're going to be making this one, the other one of these, and it's using these adorable little Czech flowers, little 7mm Czech flowers, and I knew when I saw these that I was definitely going to be using them for something, and you know, for you guys, because I just think they're so cute. The middle's actually rose gold, but there's so many metallics going on with this mix of the iris duos that they've given us, and I'm using some of the Azuki gold beads that they gave us, the metallic pale gold. So there's so many different metallics in here that it just looks like a mixed metallic sort of colorway, so it all works together. Now see how this is flipping? I'm gonna have to just put a little dot of glue on the back right in here and here to kind of attach that onto the iris duo so that that flower doesn't flip around. Now, if you don't have the box, but you have iris duos, you could maybe use a 7 or 8mm, just a round bead in place of the flower. But I really think the flower kind of makes it. And then these little guys, I believe are 6mm. Let me just double check that for you guys. They're just little 6mm discs. Yeah, 6mm. Just little spacer beads. So some 6mm spacer beads there, okay? You're gonna need 4 of those. And I believe they're maybe 1.5mm deep. They're not very deep, okay? If you don't have these, you might have a metal spacer that could work in its place. And then I'm using some Miyuki seed beads out of my stash, number 1087. And then I'm using the Azuki pale gold beads that came, which seem a little bit bigger to me than, just a teensy bit bigger than the Miyuki. So my suggestion is if you use Miyuki beads for the main part and you don't have the Azuki beads, you could use maybe a Toho bead where I'm using an Azuki bead, okay? And then you'll need some iris duos as well. And I am going to be using a wire guard. If you don't have that, you can just make a little loop of beads at the top of your earring and put your earring wire through that, okay? And I am going to be using Dragonthread size 6 in Smoke. And I just accidentally lost the end of it. Okay, here we are. Okay, so you don't need a ton of thread either. I mean, I would say kind of 3 feet's probably enough. These are quite quick to work up, so it's kind of nice every now and again to have a little bit of a quicker project. And I will put links for any supplies that I can find on the Potomac website down below for you, so you could go and see if I think they did have the spacer beads. I don't know about the flower beads. They definitely have a lot of iris duos. They obviously have the Azuki beads. They obviously have Miyuki beads. And yeah, so I'll put a link to everything that I can find down below. Okay, so with the end of our thread, what I did was I laid out my metallics. You can kind of see on here. Let me zoom you in a little bit. I kind of have like a gold and then a more silvery one, and then more gold, more silver, and a more gold laid out in that order. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to go through the top hole of those beads. So what I did was I just laid them out, and make sure you check before you start that none of the holes on the bottom are clogged up, because you don't want to have to undo all of that. Okay, so I'm going just from right to left through the beads that were laying in my fan shape in the colors that I want. So I want a sort of gold, a silver, a gold, a silver. Okay, it's not really silver, it's more of a, I don't know, iron, but anyway. And then I'm going to go through my 7mm flower, and if you don't have the flower, you'll just be going through that round bead that's 7 or 8mm, okay? And then we're going to push it all down, and we're going to go through all those beads again. So the same hole on the iris duo that we went through the first time, you're going to go through again, so on the same side, okay? And then you can tie your working thread and your tail into a knot. So I'm just tying a square knot. These guys are really in the way. Okay, so this is where I am, and here's my knot right here on this side, okay? So I am going to go through all of the iris duos one more time. And I'm still going through that same hole that I went through before. So I'm just trying to get away from my knot here, okay? All right, now we're gonna pick up 3 of our Miyuki seed beads. We're going to go into the very first hole on this, on the outside of the iris duo, okay? Then I'm just going to pick up one of my spacer beads. I'm going to go straight into the next hole. And when you're doing this, this is going to be a little messy looking. Like, I can see the thread right there. They're not going to sit very straight. It's just going to be a little bit messy at this point, okay? So don't stress out about it. Just get through all the holes. So go ahead, and you're just going to put 4 of the spacers, 1 between each iris duo. And I'm working on those outside holes on the iris duo. yeah, they're not going to sit beautifully, but just at least make sure that, you know, the thread isn't twisted or anything, okay? And then once you have got through all of those, and you've made sure that the threads are not twisted, okay, you're going to pick up 3 more of your Miyuki seed beads, and you're going to go into the top of the other iris duo that's on the edge there, okay? So we now have this. Now I'm going to take a little shortcut here. I'm going to go back out into the first hole on this side. So I was coming out here on this side of it, but I'm going back up into the first hole. So nobody will see that thread because it's kind of on the inside there, okay? I'm going to go through the 3 beads through my flower bead and through the 3 beads again on the far side. Okay, so I'm coming out from the 3 beads on the top here. I'm going to pick up 5 beads. Again, I'm using my Miyuki, so you're going to pick up 5. You're going to go straight through the spacer bead. You're going to pick up 5 more. You're going to go straight through the next spacer bead. 5 more. And again, through the next spacer bead. You get the idea. 5 more. Through the next spacer bead. And 5 more. And we're going straight through those 3 that are on the top and into the flower, okay? So it now looks like this. And just keep that tail out of the way. Then we're going to go through the first 5 of our beads on the far side, right here. So go through the first 5, so you should have 3 left over, okay? You're going to skip the very first one that's right here, and you're going to go through the next 4. Sorry, so the next 2, the spacer, and the next 2. So that's what I mean by 4. Again, we're going to skip this bead right here, and we're again going to go through 2, spacer, and 2. So 4 seed beads. And you want that one that you skipped is going to kind of pop out a little bit, okay? So again, we're skipping that middle bead. We're going again through the next set. Skip that middle bead again. Go through the next 4. So 2 spacer plus 2. Okay. Skip the next bead. And you're going to go down all 5 of these seed beads right here. Okay. So these should be kind of sticking out a little bit at this point. All right. Okay, so now we're going to circle around again. So we're going to go through our flower. We're going to go through 5 beads on the far side of the flower. Okay, so just go straight through, skip that end bead right there, okay? You're going to go up the 2 beads on this side of your spacer bead. You're going to pick up 1 Miyuki bead, 1 Azuki bead, and 1 Miyuki bead. So if you don't have the Azuki, you can use a Toho, or you could just use another color of the accent as a Miyuki bead, okay? You're going to go through the very first seed bead that's after the spacer. And these beads, you're going to want these to sit up on top of your work, okay? So just, it is going to be loose. You can see how it's a little bit loose right here, but just hold them up there for now, okay? We'll fix that in a second. Then you're going to go through that bottom iris duo, the bottom hole of the iris duo. Okay, so that is pulling this bead upwards towards that hole now, okay? So then we're going to go through that very last Miyuki bead before the next spacer, coming out of the iris duo. I'm going to go through, sorry, no I'm not. I'm going to pick up a Miyuki, an Azuki, and a Miyuki. And I'm going to go into that very first bead on the other side of the spacer. And again, I want these to kind of sit up on top of the rest of the beads for now. And I mean, they're just going to look kind of weird and stick up all over the place right now, but that's okay. Then we're going to go through our next iris duo, the bottom hole. Okay. Then we're going to go through the last seed bead before the spacer. Again, pick up a Miyuki, an Azuki, and a Miyuki. You're going jumping over the spacer and into that very first bead after the spacer. Okay. You're going through that iris duo. And we're going to repeat one more time. Go through that last seed bead before the spacer. Pick up your Miyuki, Azuki, Miyuki, okay? And hop straight into that first bead on the other side of the spacer, okay? And then you could go straight through the iris duo. Okay, so right now it looks kind of messy, which is fine. That is what it is supposed to look like at this point. Okay, so we're going to go through the last 3 seed beads above your iris duo and through the flower and through the first 3 seed beads on the side after the flower. So we're going through 3, the flower, and 3, okay? Okay, so now we're gonna, we have to join these bits together. So you can go ahead, go down through the last few beads on this side. You're gonna go up the 2 seed beads before the spacer. You're gonna go up through these 2. So the Miyuki, the Azuki, and the Miyuki. So go over those 3, actually 3, okay? And then we're gonna pick up 1 more Miyuki bead. And then we're gonna go up. So we're coming kind of down out of this. We're going downwards. So here we're going upwards into the next little section of them, okay? And that's going to kind of help them lay flat. Okay, so now we have like a second row of beads forming right here, okay? And we should have little peaks where the gold beads are, okay? So again, coming out the last Miyuki, pick up 1 more Miyuki, push that down and go up through the first 2 beads on the next embellishment and then down. And when you give it a tug, it should start to lay flat against the iris duos, okay? And you can see my flowers turning around right now. That's why you have to kind of put a little dab of glue just to keep that from happening. Okay. Then we're going to go, so I'm coming out the bottom, going up through the last little set of embellishments. Then I'm going down. And I'm going up through the last 3 beads. Here, okay? So when you pull it, it's now gonna look like this. So we're almost done. We just have 1 more bit, and then we just have to do the attachment for our earring, okay? All right, so you're gonna go through the first 2 beads after the point, or 5 beads after the spacer. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there should be 3 left over that you're not going into, okay? You're gonna go down into the iris duo, the outside hole. Then you're gonna go through the first Azuki gold bead right here, okay? Then you're going to go into the upper hole of the second iris duo. I'm going into the upper hole, and this is going to help tie this down for us. Then you're going to go through the next Azuki bead. And again, oops, sorry. Again, you're going to go through the upper hole of the middle iris duo, okay? Okay, so that's kind of pulling that gold bead upwards. We're going to go again through the next gold bead. We're going again through the upper hole of the 4th iris duo. Okay, we're going through that gold bead again, but here on the end, we don't go through the inner hole, we go through the outer hole on the iris duo. So go up through the outside hole, not the inside hole. Okay, so that is the main body of the motif completed. We just need to finish adding on our earring finding. So you're going to go through the last 3 seed beads and into your flower, or whatever bead you're using if you're not using a flower. Okay, so for me it works out to use 9 beads. So what I did was I picked up 4. You may need to adjust if you're not using the flower. Okay, if you're using like an 8mm, or maybe you're using a round, you may need to kind of adjust your count. So I'm picking up 4. I'm picking up 1 Azuki, so I know where the middle is, and then I'm picking up another 4. So 9 in total. Okay. And then I'm just going from this side of the flower straight through the middle of the flower again. Ouch. Okay. Couldn't find my way out. Okay, so we now have that little ring of beads that is going over the top. So what I did was I went up through the first 4. I pick up my my little wire guard. If you don't have that, you could just make a little ring of beads or whatever you want to do at the top. Okay, that's kind of up to you. So I'm going up 4. So you got to go back down through the wire guard and then into the 4. Okay, and just make sure when you're pulling that that thread does sit in that little channel on the wire guard. Okay, it should just nestle right in there. Okay, you're going to go again through your flower, just the flower. Okay, and then what I did was I went up through the first 4 plus the middle bead. Okay, then you're going to go up the other way through the wire guard. So I'm going up on the left-hand side. I'm going down on the right-hand side. I'm gonna have to change my needle, it's too thick. One moment. Okay, sorry. Sometimes the wire guards are really tight to get through more than once, so I was using a size 10, so I've just downgraded to an 11, so hopefully now I should just slide right on through. Yep. And then I'm going to go through that 11 that's in the middle there, the Azuki bead, and again back through all of those 4 beads. Okay. So now I kind of want to tie these beads all together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these outer beads all the way around the outside of the earring, just to join this bit onto this bit, okay? So pass all the way around, over again, and then go back through your flower, and you can tie onto your starting thread, okay? So I'll do that off screen and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I just made it all the way around, and so now all I have to do is just tie my 2 ends together, and I'm just gonna tie a knot, just a normal kind of square knot. And then you can just run your thread. I usually run one through the flower and out the other side, and one the other direction away from the flower. and then you can cut it off, okay? And so I'll come back to show you what that finished looks like. And I'm using the slip and snip scissors that came in the box. So you got these cool scissors that, you know, fold up nice and compact. You're not going to poke anything. You can keep them in your purse. It's not going to dig into the lining or anything. And then when you need to snip, you have them there. So I love these scissors. I've had this pair for, gosh, at least 3 years, and I'm still using it. And usually when I'm cutting thread a lot, you know, it kind of dulls it, but these have been really good. I've been really pleased with these. Okay, I'll sew in the other thread, and then I'll come back to put on the ear wire and show you the final result, okay? Okay, so I thought I was filming the last bit, and I wasn't, but anyway, I tied in my thread for you, and then I attached on my ear wire, and so this is what the finished earring looks like, and I think they're really elegant. I think they came out really cute. I am just going to put a tiny little dab of glue on the back between the iris duo and the flower to hold that flower in place so it doesn't twist. Now, if you're using a round bead, obviously it won't matter because it can spin anyway, you know. But I love the different mix of the metallics on these, and I think it's really cute. So hopefully you like it too. It's a nice little quick one for you, but still really, really pretty. Okay. So if you're interested in learning more about the subscription box, I do make something every month using some items from the subscription box. So, you know, if you're interested in that, I'll put that down below for you to go and check out. They have a couple different boxes. This is the treasure box. Okay, so anyway, here are all my earrings that I've been making, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.